As the episode begins, we see the Apple family swimming in the lake. And oh my god, AJ and Big Macintosh are so adorable! Everyone's having a good time except for Granny Smith, who's too afraid to go near the water. We learn that she used to be an aquabat. That is to say, she was a professional swimmer until she was injured while trying to break a high dive record. Later that day, they stumble across the FiM brothers, and it seems the writers have learned a thing or two about making them actual villains. Though personally, I think it's a bit of a downgrade, since last time the cider machine actually did what they said it did, and they were providing a needed service. If nothing else, it made discussing the episode a lot more interesting, whereas now they're flat out selling snake oil, or apple and bean leaf juice, disguised as a miracle tonic. But one thing the show still can't figure out is how to give these two a musical segment that doesn't take up a third of the episode. Though apparently taking the tonic has given Granny Smith the confidence to get back in the water, and that's not the only thing she's feeling more confident about.
Hey there, big boy. You want some of Granny's apple pie? You can buck this apple all day long.
Nope.
AJ decides to investigate the tonic and runs into Silver Shill, who's played by...
What do you two want?
Ian James Corlett. Holy shit! For those who don't know, Ian James Corlett has played Mega Man, Bob on Reboot, Cheetor on Beast Wars Transformers, and he was one of the earlier actors who played Goku on Dragon Ball Z. And his daughter is Claire Corlett, who plays Sweetie Belle. That's pretty awesome. Anyway, it turns out Silver Shill is working for the FiM brothers, pretending to be cured during the act. But after finding out the tonic's secret, AJ eventually decides that as long as it's making Granny feel more confident in herself, then in her case, it's not really hurting anything. Though, with Granny working as an apple farmer, you'd think she'd be able to tell it was mostly just apple juice. Anyway, Applejack even encourages Granny Smith and Apple Bloom to join a swim meet. But things start getting out of control when the FiM brothers begin using the Apple family to endorse their product, and then Granny Smith almost kills herself trying to recreate the high dive that ended her swimming career before. Yeah, this is definitely going too far. I know, she looks like she totally had it, but look at this thing. This stunt crippled her back when she was in her physical prime. What do you think it's gonna do now? And so, Applejack and Silver Shill both fess up to what happened. Silver Shill gives the most needlessly complicated explanation for a key that we've had so far. Seriously, why didn't he just give her part of his costume or something? Flim and Flam run off, and AJ decides that in the long run, lying is ultimately hurtful no matter how beneficial it might seem at the time. Now, in real life, celebrities endorse things all the time that they don't necessarily believe in, and for the most part, we understand that they're just performers trying to make a living. But the reason these endorsements are so common is because on some level, they work. When people we like or respect say something, it has a way of influencing us. For instance, I blame Tommy Oliver for making me crave cheesy gorditas whenever I'm in Taco Bell. And interestingly, what comes back to bite Applejack is her own reputation for being honest. Now, it's debatable whether or not lying can sometimes be helpful or if honesty is always the best policy. Personally, I'm a big believer in being honest, and clearly you shouldn't tell someone you can regrow your missing eye by drinking apple juice, or tell an old lady to do a high dive into a pie tin. But I also think context is ultimately more important to consider. In Party of One, we can see how the other's lying to Pinkie Pie was hurtful to her, but obviously, you're not going to tell someone when you're planning a surprise party for them. If anything, we're told that Pinkie was overreacting. In Sonic Rainboom, Fluttershy was being honest by saying that Rainbow failed all of her practice sessions, but that only freaked Rainbow out and made her mess up even more during the competition, because she was suffering from a psychological hang-up. Sound familiar? Meanwhile, I've come down several times on Sweet and Elite because Rarity's lying was so unnecessary. I realize that she's trying to get in with a crowd that's judging her on superficial terms, but she had enough legitimate credibility without needing to make things up, and all the lying created the possibility for severe long-term consequences, all of which was unnecessary and could have been avoided if she had just told the truth from the beginning. In a more debatable episode like Mysterious Mare-de-Well, many have said that Rainbow Dash's friends should have tried to talk to her instead of tricking her, but it can also be argued that she had her head so far up her own ass that the only way for her to get the message was to give her a taste of her own medicine. lesson. Leap of Faith kinda tries to have it both ways. We're told in the end that Granny Smith will continue swimming and she's mad that she was lied to, but at the same time, she needed that confidence boost and she really wasn't getting it anywhere else. Because of that, Applejack said the tonic was good for her. The problem came when all these other ponies got their hopes up when they clearly needed medical treatment and not just a placebo. And yeah, in the long run, after Granny's built her confidence back up, it's good to get rid of that crutch. But that's all part of the process that worked for her, not everyone. In the end, I think this was another great Apple Family episode. Granny Smith gets some fantastic development, and it does a very good job at presenting a complex issue that challenges the element of honesty. However, while a kid's show obviously isn't going to straight up say that it's okay to lie, and I'm not suggesting that it should, I do think that the moral oversimplifies the specific problem that Granny Smith is facing. Overall, I think this episode is about on par with the Flim Flam Brothers' last appearance. While the antagonists and the final lesson are less memorable than they were before, booze! The character interactions and the overall conflict are a lot better. Leap of Faith gets an 8 out of 10.